What's up, you guys? Let me get this off there. There you go. I'm getting the old motor tore down here that was in the Camaro, and I noticed a few things. Like when I changed the oil last time, I mean, it always had little metal shavings in there, but I thought that was normal because I honed it. You know, I'm like, maybe it has a few little things in there, so I kept flushing the oil. But you can still see it's like a little sparkly in spots. Like, and it just kept on persisting. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? So anyway, I'm tearing this thing apart, and everything's looking fine. You know, everything's real clean still. I put it in there, cleaned it up. And as you, I mean, you guys don't know because I didn't record any of this before, but I never did any of the main bearings, and I didn't do any cam bearings. I didn't do any bearings. I didn't do any rod bearings, no cam bearings when I did this. I put about 2,000 miles on this motor. It was about 600 horse. Drove it around. So anyway, I'm tearing it apart, and if you look inside here, you see those little things of metal, like those strips. I'm not sure what it is. I've already dug some out of it right here. Look at that. I already dug that out of there so far. And it's pretty good pieces of metal. I'm not sure what it is. So I'm gonna keep tearing it apart. Let you know what I found. Here, let's see if I can't get some more out of here. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to drop anything back in the motor. You know, it's like operation around here. So look at that. Like, what is that from? So that's weird. Not sure what it is, what caused it. I'm sure it's a bearing or something somewhere I'm gonna find. It's gotta be. That's the only thing I didn't change. So I caught it before it spun a bearing. I caught it before it destroyed everything. So my everything else looks mint. So I'm gonna keep on taking it apart. I'm gonna get you guys on a tripod here, and you guys can watch. Just because, I mean, this one's still the same. Like, I haven't went any further without you guys. I want you guys to see the total start to finish on this one. But this one I already started like last year, just before I started my channel. So, I mean, you guys don't know the whole backstory on this one yet. I'm trying to fill you guys in. I know I kind of skip around here and there, but I don't know. I do my best. So I'll get you guys on a tripod here. I'll get the windage tray and the pickup tube taken off. I'll start cleaning out the rest of this gunk that's in there. So I got paint. Like this is a brand new pickup tube I got with the oil pan. So there was nothing in there. I can't believe there's so much garbage in there. Like, I don't know. I got this. It's my first build. Give me some slack. I mean, I'm thinking it's got to be that thrust bearing. So I'm gonna put this window. Okay, here's what I found. I got all the plates and stuff off, all the top plates. It was a thrust bearing. So here's the top of them. They look pretty good. You don't really see too much wear. And then on a thrust bearing, you see some like right here. It looks pretty, like it has some pressure on it right there. This one looks a little rough on the front. They're all in order. So, and here's what I found right here on the crank. You can see it's got a groove right here on this side. Pretty good actually. Like it's pretty deep groove. And what was going on is when the input shaft had all that pressure right here in the crank, it was pushing this way, which is why it has this mark right here on the crank. Look, if you slide it forward like that, see how that gap closes? Right there, it opens up right here, and then you pull it. That's because it was rubbing right there, and it was rubbing there. It was also rubbing up front right here too. Like you can see right here how it has this is all kind of ground away, because when you pull it up, when it goes forward like that, it rubs right there. So there is a little evidence of rubbing, just from, like I said, it had all that pressure right here in the pilot, on the input shaft and the pilot bearing. So that's what I found. Everything else looks great. Like all where the rods were riding. Here's where the bearing is. Here's the rods. There's the bearing for the crank, rod bearing. Everything looks good. I think I caught everything else in time. Even though these bearings, I mean, they're wore out. Like I'd probably replace them at this point, just because you can see a little wear on this one. Looks like it's the worst one, really. See, but you can't really. I mean, I can feel it with my fingernail. I'd say it's time to replace the bearings. There's an oil pump. I'm gonna replace that along with the barbell. Got that out. So there you have it right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift the crank out, and then, you know, I'm just gonna put some new bearings in there and send it. You know, I mean, I don't see where I'm gonna get a crank at. You know, I'm not gonna go do all that work just for the crank. I think it'll be okay once we got all that pressure off there. We'll put some new bearings on there. I'm gonna see how the play is, see if it still wants to rub, and then I'll make my decision. But I mean, I took a lot of meat off. Really, here, I'll show you what we took out of here. I took a lot of meat off there. Here's what I found in the pickup tube. All this. I got it cleaned up, so now it's all clean. That's how it looked when I put it in. So we'll smash it back together. Put these pistons that I cleaned up all nice in there for them, and we'll get it all back together. I'm just happy I found out why the oil was all glittery, you know? Because if I would have took it apart and not found anything, that would have made me concerned, even more concerned, you know? So that's gonna make it for today's video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you.